Welcome back to Newstalgia, the show where we find out what happens when something old becomes something new. This week I'm going to be talking about Jak and Daxter. As mentioned before, growing up I was a big PlayStation guy. The PS1 was my first brand new console, and the PS2 is the system that really got me into gaming. One of the franchises I really grew up on for PS2 was the Jak and Daxter collection. Originally made by Naughty Dog, the same developers who created Crash Bandicoot, Uncharted, Last of Us. Jak and Daxter was a platformer that followed the adventures of Jak and his friend Daxter, who was turned into an Otzel, basically Otter meets Weasel. It was a pretty straightforward platformer that had you hunting down power cells and precursor orbs. The gameplay is fun, although a little rough around the edges in this remaster. But to be fair, this remaster is technically, at least from what it appears to me, a port of the remaster that was released on PS3. So the graphics for it, while improved over the PS2 version, are still pretty rough and fail in comparison to updated games like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. A lot of the cutscenes aren't very smooth, and the scenery itself can look a little off. But honestly, that isn't a big deal in my opinion. It's just nice to be able to replay this game on my PlayStation 4. It has a decent amount of content. I'd say you could run through this story in about 8 hours, so it never overstays its welcome or feels too short. I feel like with this game, it's a harder recommendation. I feel the nostalgic value definitely makes it worth it for longtime fans, but for people who haven't experienced this game before, they may not enjoy the controls and the graphics aren't strong enough to make this an amazing remaster. But that being said, this game can be found super cheap. When I picked it up on PSN, it was under $10. It's not always that cheap, it was on sale, but I can easily recommend picking it up that low if you ever come across it. It's a game worth experiencing, or at least trying out if you haven't before, and it really helps show how Naughty Dog has really evolved over the years. If you think about it, from the PS1 to the PS4, they've had created really incredible and somewhat long-lasting franchises. While they've moved on from a lot of them, they created these universes and characters and helped keep them alive by letting other teams continue the stories. For better or for worse though. With that being said, if you come across it cheap, definitely give this remaster a shot. On that note, this has been Newstalgia. Stay tuned for next time.